Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Tinfoil Hat Christian. Okay, so we're starting this channel today, and I just want to welcome everybody to it. I'm really excited to be starting this channel today because I wanted to start it for a really long time, and I really was kind of nervous to do it. As you can tell, I'm really, really nervous today to be doing this, and so if I'm kind of wonky, that's for the reason. That's the reason I'm really nervous to do it. So that's what we're doing. We're starting it today. And what really, really kicked it off was the other night I had this dream. And so I think I want to start the channel by sharing the dream with you. So that's what I'm going to do. So the other night I had this dream, and it was really weird. It was unusual. So it was a rapture dream, and so it started off in this church, or at least it was a church-like building. I think it was a church, and the dream, it was like there was a stage, and there was like a, I guess, an altar, and it was just a plain wooden altar, and there were three sort of seats, sections of sort of stadium style seating there, but they were individual seats, but they were laid out like pews, and they were empty. They were empty except for two people on the not the middle section, but the left section as you face it. And in that section, there were two men. One was kind of just a regular guy. I got the impression that he was either the assistant to or some sort of henchman, I guess, of the guy that was sitting in the aisle seat. And the guy that was sitting in the aisle seat was dressed all in white, in like a white suit, but he had white hair. He kind of reminded me of like Santa Claus. I don't know why, the hair and the beard kind of reminded me of Santa Claus, but anyway, I don't know. That's what it looked like. And but anyway, he was sitting right there, and I was standing in a small crowd in the back of the church, and there was a guy in front of me, and people were telling him to kneel, and he said, "I'm going to." But before he could, this wind sort of sucked him down the aisle, and he lost his footing, and he fell down. He was kind of scrabbling at the carpet, and it was like that gold, dingy kind of 70s kind of carpet, and the seats were kind of that orange, weird orange, 70s orange, and he was scrabbling at the carpet trying to find purchase with his hands and his feet, and he couldn't, and he was flying down the aisle, and right before he bashed up against the stage, he caught the front row of the seats with his feet in his hands, and the henchman or the assistant or whatever he was, the guy in white, was yelling at him to kneel. And my viewpoint changed, so I was kind of like looking at him from above, of the guy that was, struggling to stand up. And he kept saying, I'm trying to, but the wind is too strong. The wind's too strong. And the guy in white, he was telling him to kneel. And he said he couldn't because the wind was too strong. It was sucking him down the aisle. And then the scene changed. So the scene changed, and I was in this kind of open area, and I don't know where it was, but I got the impression it was the Middle East. I could be completely wrong about that, and just it was weird. But it was we were in this field, and there were kind of mountains and things in the distance, and there were people out there, and I had the impression they were working, but I don't know what they were working on. So I was out there, and I walked up the steps into a restaurant, and the restaurant was one of those old Silverliner railway cars, like from the old days. It wasn't like one that you would see today. It was one of those old ones. And so I walked up in there, and it was a restaurant, and there were booths and or tables or booths on either side, and it was an aisleway down the middle, and people were eating, and I was supposed to meet friends there. And so I walked past the waitress, and when I got to the place where I was supposed to sit, there were three people there, but I didn't know them. But we had food there, and like they had ordered for me, and were waiting on me to get there to eat. So I sat down with them, and all of a sudden there was this loud noise, and it sounded like an air raid siren, but instead of like the way that it cycles in and out, it was just a continuous loud sound. And I said, what is the noise? And the guy next to me was just eating like a zombie almost. And he said, oh, well, that's just the sound for the Christians to go home. And I realized then it was a trumpet. And I got so excited. And I looked up out the window and I realized that it was the rapture because the sky had split in half. And on one side, it was bright and sunny, and there were clouds, and it was bright and sunny. And on the other side, the clouds had opened up, and you could see the night sky. But it wasn't black, it was twilight. And it was like, it looked like a map you would see of constellations. And the constellations had lines down them, like you would see like a map of constellations. And I can't remember which constellations were shown. I just remember that they were constellations in like it reminded me of the verse in the Bible about signs from the heavens. And so you could see the constellations drawn out. And I got really excited and I jumped up and I ran to the other side of the railway car to see if it was happening on both sides of the railway car, and it was. And I remember saying, Lord, Lord, I'm so excited. Please, please, I'm ready. Please take me. Please take me. And the top of my head started to tingle, and I realized that my spirit was separating from my body, and just like ever so gently, it started to separate, and I started to raise up to the roof of the trailer, but I didn't completely separate from my body because I banged up against it, and then I banged against it once, and then I banged against it twice, and then I woke up, and that was the dream. So it was just so very odd, and I don't know what it meant. So I thought that I would start the channel by telling you about that dream. I had that dream Saturday night, October the 10th. And it's not the only strange dream I've had. I had a couple more dreams that night. But I don't know what they meant. They were kind of piecemeal dreams that I couldn't explain. And so I won't talk about those ones because they didn't make any sense at all. And so I don't feel like I should put them out there because they were just a little out there, and so I won't discuss them. But I did have that dream, and that dream was the one that, from beginning to end at least had some kind of flow. So that one's out there. So that was an amazing dream, guys. It was an amazing dream. So I put that out there for you guys to, interpret however you want to interpret it. I'm not going to try to interpret it for you. So that was out there. I had a couple of other dreams too earlier, about a couple of weeks ago. I had another one that was a rapture dream. It was a snippet of a dream where I was in a restaurant, was working in a restaurant, which I don't. I do admin work for the government, so I don't know why I would be working in a restaurant, but I was working in a restaurant, and I was taking a restaurant's menus from a customer and handing them across an aisle, and I happened to glance out the blinds, and everybody was looking towards, I'm thinking it was the east, and all of them were lit up in golden light. They were all pointing in the same direction. For some reason, I just knew it was the rapture. And then that was it. That was the whole dream. And then I had another very odd dream where my family was almost the exact same time frame, maybe a couple of nights before that. I had a dream where my family was camping near Washington. And we were just inside the Canadian border, camping, and we were hiking, and we ran up on troops that were across the border, and I thought in the dream that they were Canadian troops that were for some reason invading, and I have no idea where that dream came from, but it's there. I then found out later that was supposedly, and I can't confirm this, but there are reports of Canada is hosting Chinese troops, and when I looked at the pictures, they were wearing the exact same uniforms that were in the dream. So I'm not trying to interpret that dream, but it was odd that they were wearing the same uniforms that were in the dream. So yeah, interesting, weird stuff. So that was the dream, and not gonna guess whether or not I'll have any other dreams, but I thought that was a good way to start the channel off, to talk about those dreams. What I would like to do with the channel, I'm considering talking about different news that's out there. There's so many things that are out there right now as far as what's going on with the government, and what's going on with the different things that are going on in the world, so many weather things that are going on with the world that are affecting our lives, and that's the kind of thing that I would like to talk about, and most importantly, just spreading the word and trying to get things out there. So welcome to the channel, and I'm excited to be here, and just welcome. Hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks.